What really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death?
The fuck is that? Shit! I'm dying in this fucking country-ass fucked up town. Shit flying in my mouth. The fuck? I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out of this country, motherfucker. I can't even see me.
I hear you talking, nigga. You ain't saying shit. You think you know all about the world, but you don't know shit. See, there's two things in this world. That's your dings and your no dings. Now what are your dings? That's your J's. You're back to back. You're back to black. You know, shit that appreciate with value. What are your no dings? That's your any and every network that was on the bullshit. You dumb motherfucker.
Mariano's back today. That's the word on the street. The streets of Atlanta.
Test. J Hall sound
good.
I'm good.
Yes, you sound very good. Black Trey, Mariano, you're back.
Yep. What up, boy? What's going on, Juice? What's the word? Ain't nothing. 2.0.
2.0. How having a swell day?
Man, I'm having a swell day, man. You know what? I was going to tweet Amin just so he could tweet me back. Hi, Boyan Bogdanovic.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. Calling people by their name, like that shit is hilarious, man.
The funny thing was that the crazy lady from the New York show. I don't know her name. Her thing said Dorothy of Israel. So I'm like, all right, Dorothy. She's like, oh, you didn't even get my name right. I was like, you didn't get my argument right. She said, well, that's more disrespectful to get someone's name wrong. I said, you gave yourself that name.
Man, 2.0, man. It's 2.0 shit, man.
No.
I like it. I like it.
I'm trying to spread positivity and love.
You know what? I like that, man. That'd be the thing that
Amin West.
Aggression.
Amin West, man.
Aggression.
Amin West out here. He want to love everybody, B.
Hey, Trey, they come to me with clenched fists, but I come to them with open arms.
Sensitive thugs, we all need hugs, man. I heard you, man.
Yeah. Like my man said in Good Will Hunting, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Don't fuck with me, all right? Don't fuck with me, Sean. Not you. It's not your fault.
You stupid at me.
What's it up, man?
Chilling, Mari. How are you, bro?
Man, I'm chilling, man. Good weather and shit. Jerry, what's going on, B?
What's good, fam? How are you?
I'm all right, man.
Yo, this write up y'all sent?
Jerv, you mad about
short.
the wrong?
Hold on,
Nah, it's not short at all.
It's not short at all. Yeah, who said it was short?
Jade
Somebody
said that.
Oh, it's not that long at all.
Dude, I've been reading it since.
Maybe it's just so good it didn't really dawn on me.
Yeah, that's what it is. And you might be a fast reader, Jade.
No, I'm not. I'm a terrible reader. I'm a terrible.
So am I. That's why I was like, I don't know what Jay was talking about.
But it was right. Him and I are more or less the same age. We're like the same age, so I get that.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I get that whole thing.
His perspective.
So it hit home for you.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Right up to the I love the way that he referenced the Billie Jean video with Michael Jackson stepping on the squares and they would light up. I remember as a kid, I was such a stickler. I'd be like, that didn't really sync up.
Imagine Jay telling MJ, yo, get closer to the block, like, get closer to the light. Imagine him telling
hilarious.
Everyone's walking on eggshells around Michael Jackson, and then you got Jay like, MJ,
do it again. Do that again, Mike.
Yeah, hey, Mike. Hey, you mind going back?
I always wondered how they did that. I mean, someone must have had to this is before touch technology, I believe.
Someone had to and hit the button. Damn, it was a little slow. Do it again. Yeah. No, okay, we'll get it in post. But I wanted to hey, look. By the way, the thing we're talking about is the Ta-Nehisi Coates write up about Kanye, and what Kanye want is freedom for white variety. It is fascinating. There's he draws a lot of parallels with Michael Jackson, what Michael Jackson went through. I really enjoyed reading it. It is not short, as Jay said. It is lengthy, but because I'm that guy, a lot of people are going to say that it's great and point out all the great parts about it, and God bless y'all all. But was I the only one who thought to themselves, I could have done without the personal anecdote in the middle?
Yeah, I don't even care. I want to skip through it. It just does it help you though?
It was a little navel-gazing. It was a little navel-gazing.
It's like I don't care about his celebrity.
I mean, it was a little long, perhaps. Maybe it's a little long.
But my thing is the only critique of Coates to me is that usually, man, I'm like, damn, you could have used the editor here, but it's still good.
My thing is that it didn't.
It's not trash though.
It didn't add to the point he was making. It was long, and it just seemed in there. He never referenced it and that's why he just kind of. By the way, it reminds me of when I was famous. And then he goes back to talking about comparing Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder with Jim Brown and all that other stuff. That was all. If you remove that massive chunk that was just about him, it doesn't grade any less. I haven't lost any context. I haven't lost him making any points or making any points seem more relatable. Everything in that thing was already relatable enough. Him adding that just felt a little gratuitous. That's just me. Amin's a racist, along with being a misogynist and a homophobe, and he hates being black. He's a self-hating racist to the worst kind.
I think he could have done it in a paragraph. That's all. He's making a point there, but I don't know. Because Kanye's level of superstar, which he says, is so large. I
think what he's saying is relatable. My little punk ass book literary celebrity was fucking me up. So now just imagine what Kanye's doing.
He never makes that connection. He just kind of throws that story out there, and just everywhere else he makes a direct connection. It's like this. It's like Michael Jackson changing his nose like that. But he never makes a connection with his personal story to what Kanye's going through. 1, 2, like Waz just said it in literally one sentence. He could have said that.
I will say this. Shouts to Waz, who's been saying this for the last 3 weeks. He's been saying that about Kanye. Is that he's so enclosed in this weird world that he's created, Well, he's lost touch. The T.I.
part. I'd never watched the T.I. interview on Breakfast Club, so I didn't know that part where he says he's talking to Kanye, and Kanye had no idea about the travel ban. And I'm just thinking to myself, I know musicians and music artists, they get in that studio and they'll have no TVs on, and they'll be in that bunker for months. But it just seems like, there's just some things that are happening in the world that are very hard to ignore.
I don't know, man.
Are there?
It's not really like that, though, because I think
maybe not.
I don't know. I think you watch a little more TV than most, but a lot of my friends don't watch anything and doesn't know any. I have to bring it to their attention. And what I mean by my friends are the ones that are so they just don't care. You know what I mean? You would hope, dang, you know they're about to go to war, right? And they're I don't give, it ain't about to happen here, because it's just it's irrelevant. If it's not coming to the United States, that's how they view it. And they should care, and they should care more. But in their world,
there's a joke. There's a Patrice O'Neal joke where he says man, I'm trying hard to give a fuck about this. I know I'm gonna care about this, and he listening to the story. And then he nope, I just can't give a fuck. It's not here. It's not here, so I just can't care. That's the general. That's normal. The normal occurrence.
But the difference, Mariano and Trey, I'm not saying about giving a fuck. There's a lot of things I know about that I don't
give a fuck, but you should know.
It's I'm not just saying, you can't.
I'm not dumbing that down.
No, not dumbing it down. But I'm just saying. The idea that you can go through life.
And be
go
oblivious.
to the go to the supermarket, and just be oblivious of that happening at all.
Right.
But that's assuming he goes to the supermarket. He doesn't do those common things.
That's true.
Yo, I mean, just think about how many immigrants you and I know, right? But interface with on a daily basis.
But here's the thing, like you tell me Kanye doesn't. You like, I mean, I know dudes in. No, I'm just saying dudes in the industry.
I don't think he does, and then I don't think they does. But then they're also not even. They're not even bringing it. You're not going to bring that into an open conversation.
That's what I was about to say.
I just brought up the Kanye stuff. I just brought up the Kanye stuff with a couple people, right? And they didn't even really know. They heard like, oh, he had a song, and that the song was trash, but they didn't even know about the interviews. They were like, you know what I mean? Like, and then I had to sit down. I was like, yo, we're gonna sit down and watch this, and I want to know what y'all opinion is on this. And then some people were like, I get it. And then some people were like, that nigga's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's still like people are not exposed to everything.
I mean, like if you're taking an Uber, any cab of any sort, that fucking immigration ban was being talked about. You know what I'm saying? Like just the amount of interactions you have to have.
Like I'm like here's my thing. Like,
yes, Kanye's taking an Uber though.
He's not doing any of the, but he's not doing any of that common shit you guys are talking about.
Oh yeah, no, okay. So I'm gonna try and compare him with other people who are in that stratosphere. Okay. Jay-Z knows about it. How did Jay-Z hear about it from his supermarket?
Because Jay-Z's tapped in though.
Yeah, he's tapped in. He's opted into that.
It's just because he made that choice.
I mean, like Jay-Z's right hand man.
Drake knows because he's. But Drake's in that again. He has to have his hands in things because that's his celeb. Like, okay, this is a tragedy. How can I give back?
All of the people who are around Drake are people who have been around him since he was like 14, 15 years old. Jay-Z, Tata, Emery, these are guys that he's still around. These are still ostensibly normal, functioning human beings. Who the hell is Kanye around?
He's a different dude.
And also it goes back to Jay-Z. You know, remember Hov said that he doesn't have time to sit up on Twitter and know about everything, but he got nephews and he got people around him that's keeping him, you know.
I know Team
even on small stuff like that. Like even on small stuff like that. So I know that Jay-Z's tapped in, even if you look at the Khalif Browder story. Like he's tapped into a lot of shit that's actually going on because he wants to. Like Ye is around people. It's like, yo, when are they ever gonna make Kanye give a fuck about something that he
in a weird way? Like this is gonna sound really weird. We vilify the Kardashians for a lot of stuff. I feel like even they know about the travel ban, man.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's not a conversation though. It's not some shit that you can be like, no, because nobody's really like if it's not their concern, they're not gonna just bring it up or just like and fake pretend to care because a lot of people don't really care. But I can't force my friends to be like, yo, man, you heard about, you know, the bombings or anything. If they don't care, they don't care. Like, you just be like, I really don't care. I don't it's not my concern.
The Kardashians use social media, though. Like, they use social media for their existence.
But it's not a conversation, though.
But my thing is they're locked in, though. Kanye creates his own wave at all times. But he's go ahead.
You don't talk to his own wife?
He does.
He's so locked in. He's so locked in. He's locked out from his wife.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I see.
No, I mean,
Kanye's he's so out there though. Like he's so in another space that like anybody that has a conversation with Kanye, like people around Kanye know that Kanye he doesn't talk. Like he doesn't he doesn't formulate sentences.
Right.
Like if you listen to Kanye, like he talks in a language like you're talking to your friends. Like my homies and I, we talk to each other. And I've tried talking to my wife in ways, not tried, but like I've had conversations with her where I've talked as if I'm talking to one of my homies. She asks me every time, what the fuck are you talking about?
Same shit. See, and that goes back to Kanye being a different type of person because like even us, we got friends where it's like, nah, man, you know that's just him. Like you can't bring certain shit up to certain people. You know how they gonna react to it. And even if you look at Kanye's old interviews, you ask him a straight question. This man gonna dance around. It's like following a rabbit home. He gonna dance around and take you down.
He's never talked right.
That's what I'm saying. Like so, it's like you can't. So even if you do ask him those questions, he's never gonna give you the right answer because he's gonna either deflect or say some bullshit you don't want to hear. And it's like just that's why.
Or not even bullshit. He's giving you the outlandish shit that he's thinking in his mind, but 100%. You just have no clue.
Right.
Like it makes sense to him.
Right.
You know Mike, right?
Mike Shaw?
No, not Mike Shaw. Mike, Ahmed's friend that went to high school with Ahmed. Light-skinned Mike, yeah. So, he has this big Christmas party every year. He have parties at his house or whatever. And that's the only way to describe it.
That's the only way to describe it.
Not white Mike. Light-skinned.
No, light-skinned. Yes.
So like his whole family show up. His in-laws and everything, right? So he's got this one uncle named Uncle Ozzy, man. And this dude, I think he's Trinity, but like everything he says sounds like just mumbo jumbo, man. Like just like I was just thinking about that right now when Jervay was talking about like talking and no one would ever understand. Like this dude, he just you cannot see the light, it's getting there. That's how he was like. And then like you say, hey man, what's going on, Ozzy? Like, hey, no, whatever. And like just start saying massive mumbo jumbo in a very thick Trini accent. And like one day I thought to myself, yo, what are conversations at home like with him, right? Like she's like, hey, could you take out the trash? It's getting very light. Like,
yo, and the thing about Kanye too, he's never struck me as somebody who was curious about things that didn't have to do with music, didn't have to do with clothes, didn't have to do with celebrity. Like it's just didn't have to do with shit that concerned him.
No, but that's not true because he talked.
But think about every time
the whole college dropout was about. Hold on, the whole college dropout was against anti-materialism for something authentic, for something from another era where hip hop cared about social issues.
But that related to his own life, right? When he's talking about working at the Gap, he talked about it not because it was he was talking about the dynamic between worker and boss out in the workplace in a capitalistic society. He's like, I worked at the Gap.
Diamonds from Sierra Leone.
He was even arrogant about.
He wears diamonds. I mean,
you know, crazy. He was even arrogant. He was even arrogant about being self-conscious.
That's crazy.
We all self-conscious. I'm just the first to admit it. Like he was even arrogant about that.
I think Kanye never really cared about things that were outside of himself. And so, when he said something about like, how we stopped the Black Panthers, Ronald Reagan cooked up an answer. Like, oh, okay. I mean, like that's the thing about backpacking and conscious rap. Like any fucking kind of nod with no intellectual rigor whatsoever got people's dicks hard. And it's just like,
intellectual. Wow, like, no intellectual rigor, you say, sounds familiar.
And like, or you say something like George Bush doesn't like black people. Okay, cool, but I don't know. Like, I never thought Kanye was that smart. Let's just put it that way. I don't know.
It's not that he's smart. It's just he's bold enough to say whatever the hell he wants to say.
In that way.
Like, he's the dude that it pops in his mind and he just says it, and then afterwards he's like, "What? What's wrong?" And has no idea what the hell he just did. And everyone's like, "Dude, you just said blah blah blah." He's like, "Wait, I did? Yeah. All right, well, fuck it, whatever."
I definitely got to go back and read that piece. Earlier, I was reading something else when Jade sent that. Have you guys been paying attention to any like Kentucky Derby type of coverage, anything? Because I've been seeing it across social media.
Wait, are we gonna read the Ta-Nehisi Coates thing about how?
No. So no. But I asked that question because I've been seeing like pictures and stuff, and little coverage here and there, and I came across this story, and the Elhassan. Let me pull it up real quick. So
Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, so this is ill. It's from this date back in 1932, right? Let me put it. Here it go. It says, a mysterious gentleman draped in silk garments stood what appeared to be idle near a crowd of Derby fans. Suddenly, he's approached by a man who tells him he's a novice gambler and wanted advice as it pertains to who he should bet money on today. The gentleman in silk was also wearing a Bluetooth earpiece on the opposite ear. So just as he finished his snack, he said, Burger King, in a distorted voice due to the food he was finishing, right? The man thanks him and bets his entire savings on a horse who would end up winning that day named Burger King. The man, rightfully ecstatic, looked into the crowd in an attempt to thank the strange prophet for his insight. When he spotted him, the gentleman ever so slightly tilted his shades and revealed his face with a smile and swift removal of the do-rag. The man realized it was Monta Elhassan in the flesh.
No.
He's the best.
No. No, you gotta send me that link.
You know what? I'm gonna send this over to you right now, and let me put this tag on it so you know it's real. But there's a Monte, there's a way.
By the way, shouts to Jeff Tobian. Wow, this guy, he's amazing. He sponsors the Monta Monday segment.
What?
Mariano, yes.
Wow.
Yes, you too can sponsor a segment. Feel free. Hit me on the Venmo. You want to send me $2,000?
Jay, keep that receipt for me, please.
I'm going to send it right to Waz.
Hold on. I'm clicking on this Monte link, and it's they actually mentioned the do-rag in there.
It's in here, man. It's right here. That's why I didn't get a chance to check out the other joint.
I hope Solange wore that do-rag to the Met Gala.
I am looking at some tickets, Amin.
Yeah?
What
are you trying to see?
Right now, I'm thinking about driving down to Philly tonight.
Oh.
I can get seats $61 for the game tonight.
Sit right next to Jervay.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
series.
Watch that suit.
I got an 8.
It's cheap because the series is already over, Jay.
I got an 8.1 section 109. What other series that is interesting right now?
I don't think there's a single interesting series. They're all over.
No, that's a shame. Hey, go check out a baseball game.
Jerv.
Go check
A
out
very short process.
Buy
check
conference finals tickets.
Go check out a theater show. Do this before you have kids. Trust me, because you'll never get to do it again. But I have SeatGeek on my phone. It's the easiest way I've found to shop for tickets. Saves you time and money searching multiple ticket sites. Our promo code B2B, that's the number 2 between 2 Bs. Again, you can plug in, if you like a certain set of tickets, you put in your email, and if you want it to go down just a little bit more, it'll ping you. But also, you'll get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase with the promo code B2B.
I guess you guys want to talk about Donald Glover. This is what I'm going to say. I myself, I did not watch the video. I saw some GIFs.
You want to wait till
of
you
him
leave?
dancing. No, I want to be part of this conversation.
Gotcha.
I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. But yeah, I saw some GIFs of him dancing around with a shirt without a shirt on. I was like, okay. But I did not watch the video. I watched some of the SNL stuff, and I'm going to say something, and this might shock you guys. I didn't think it was funny, but I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
It's SNL.
Right.
I think that's just SNL is not funny.
SNL is just not funny.
Every skit I watched, I was like, okay, I just kind of the one where I what's up?
You didn't like the blaxploitation guy, whatever, hitting on the girl that was the wrong girl.
No, the 80s music video. That was the only one where I had like a little bit of, I knew what the payoff was going to be because I could just tell the way they set up. But I smirked a little. He had one line where I was like, okay, that made me smirk. But otherwise, I sat there and I just like stone faced for a lot of that stuff.
Only clip I saw that I thought was kind of funny was the Stormy Daniels thing. Like I thought that was a little funny. Everything else I was kind of like, okay. That one was cool.
I watched 3 or 4 clips, and after that, I was like, okay, this is not going to get any better. Again, I want to be clear. This is not, Amin doesn't like Donald Glover. I think this is, to me, that's not him. That's SNL's not funny to me. I think SNL is a show that white people find very funny.
Yeah.
Migos was good.
I didn't see that one.
The Friendos.
Migos Friendos therapy thing was good, but also that's the digital short, which is always better than the show.
I saw the Cavaliers one. That one wasn't funny.
I saw terrible.
Everybody loved that one.
That was terrible.
Everyone, because everyone loves again, we're victims of our timeline. Our timeline is a bunch of basketball people, and they're like, "Oh my God, they talked about Chetty Osman on SNL." Like,
dude, that was so
groundbreaking. But it just wasn't fun. It's like I did. I was in this discussion with a bunch of white friends, and I said, "Well, I don't like SNL." And like, and I said, I'll put it to you very simply. Every SNL skit sounds like someone made a joke that might have been funny, and then someone said, "What if we extend that to 5 minutes?" Every single one. That's it. All the hallmark is they're overdoing a bit, and then every movie is taking a funny a funny bit from SNL and make it into a whole movie, like what's it called, like Night at the Roxbury and stuff. It's just
you want to know what's funny though, Amin, about Donald Glover to me now is that I remember a long time ago we had a conversation where you said that your problem with him was like, this is just Donald Glover being this guy. Now he's being that guy. I've been so wrapped up in Atlanta now that now when I see Donald Glover, I think Earn. Like, so it's like some crazy inception to where when I saw the video, I'm like, Earn is on. What the fuck is he doing? Like, when I watched it, I didn't even look at it like this is Donald Glover or Childish Gambino. I just see him as Earn now. That's it. It's the only way I see him now doing anything.
I saw the second music performance where he was doing the funny dance with the half see-through shirt. Yeah. With all the ladies on the stage.
Y'all got
like that song.
I didn't. That doesn't do much for me at all.
I think each of the songs I heard.
Listen, he's very good. He's very good. He's just not as good as
I've heard like two. I think like two or three.
Is he very good?
I mean,
he's good.
He's very well rounded.
He's good. He's good. He can do a lot. He has a facility with a lot of different things.
Right.
And you add all of that up, it's like that's good.
Like even the track he's got right now. What's the track called?
This
is America. This is America. It's a good track.
I bring this up because someone brought it up the other day. They said, no one has ever been this well rounded. I'm like, Jamie Foxx is alive.
I was about to say, like, come on.
He didn't die. He's a better actor. He's funnier. He's a better singer. He makes better music.
See, you know,
we are not talking about this video though. That's just crazy.
He can't dance.
Hey, listen. Eddie Murphy made music too.
Nah, relax.
Hey, you know what?
Party all the time.
Party all the time. I'll take any. I'll put party all the time against anyone that dude's records. Anyone in
crazy.
He parties all the time.
That's a bit much of me, but sure.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Look, Rick James with the cosign. Who's your cosign? Exactly.
Pablo.
Everybody.
Yeah. By the way, Pablo. Let's talk about Pablo. The cowardly traitor, Pablo.
Now we get to the truth.
That's right. That's right. You guys know. Oh, everyone knew. Everyone watched that. That was one of the ones I did watch, and I was like, really?
Wait, Pablo's TV?
No, not Pablo being on TV. I'm talking about the segment where he does a Southern lawyer who
AJ counsel.
Like Law and Order ripped from the headlines. They just said, that one. I said the only thing that was missing, he didn't have suspenders. The only thing that was missing. By the way, one of my favorite things about that segment, not that it was good, but my favorite things about the zeitgeist that surrounds everything this guy does is it starts with the prosecution saying something and basically resting their case, and then the judge says defense, and he says thank you, Your Honor, and stands up, and people start laughing. I'm like, wait a second, he didn't actually do or say anything funny. Y'all just wait. Y'all just basically threw your legs open like, take me now.
SNL.
Are we gonna wait? I'm just saying, live studio audience.
Oh shit.
Trey.
What's up? What's up, Jay?
Are you gonna break down the secret meaning of the video for us?
I was trying to. Segue. No, I thought we were gonna spend some time on it, but I didn't watch it.
No, it's fine.
Nah, I mean, it's people that's woke and just too woke sometimes. And like I said, I think Donald Glover is very talented for the things he do. Talented. Comparing him. Yes, I'm gonna say very talented.
He's very talented.
He's very talented.
But at this point, I just want to just make this coexist where I'm not comparing him to Jamie Foxx as well. Like I feel like both of them can coexist because even Jamie Foxx even co-signed you. So at this point, I mean, of This Is America, it's so much stuff going on, which I mean, the average consumer of videos and music wouldn't even like think this deep or really want this type of content. And I think he's going against the grain as far as, you know what I mean, pretty much making art and trying to show what's really going on in the Black community in America as well. So the video starts off with a guitarist, and obviously looks like the theorists thought it was Trayvon Martin's dad, but it's not. It's this cat. His name in the bottom of the notes, but he's playing the guitar, and pretty much the awkward pose that everybody's making jokes of, or it's become a meme, is symbolizing Jim Crow. The symbol, pretty much, it's pretty much the popular dance memes of the awkward position of how he's shooting. And then pretty much after that, I'll explain what Jim Crow is too. Separating Africans and their descendants from white Americans in its name. From there, Gambino does like some little country dance. Like it's like a, obviously Amin would definitely be out if he's seen a Childish Gambino with his shirt off, shucking and jiving. But it's pretty much showing that we ignore it with these dances that are currently out. Instead of, but the message of it is like, oh, kill whoever or take these drugs. And we think that's great. And then on the next cutscene is a black choir singing. And then he comes in and shoots them down with a AK-47. But this is America because, hey, we're desensitized to the moment. But it's also black on black crime because it's all black choir members.
I hate black on black crime narratives.
Which is fair.
I thought he was doing like shooting in South Carolina reference there.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. It was a reference for that, but it's also like him being black, and despite us being mad at the shooter in basically in South Carolina, but that this is also happening every day in our neighborhoods where black people are killing each other.
You know what would have made this easier for Jade if it was a YouTube explainer video.
Definitely.
So
Donald Glover,
they have reaction videos. The Hulk videos.
Kanye's working on that, by the way.
Kanye is the hoax.
But a lot of people, I get how you feel. I mean, because certain people have been over the top with the praise. And I think it's okay because eventually it's going to get annoying. Yeah. He even did, but me being a Gambino fan,
I dig it.
I'm trying to accept it and not be too crazy about it. You know what I mean?
I dig it. Just comes off to me as like and for me, it just reminds me when I was in college. That's which is cool. Which is cool.
Right.
I mean,
Jade's like, I remember my first beer, basically.
Yeah. So Jade is saying he remembers his first bong rip. Jervay.
But Trey, you know what's funny? What just reminded me when you just said that about there it is. Thank you. This is our Hakeem Nicks laugh. Trey.
Please
okay, all right, man. Don't be over
what the hell is that? Is that a bone grip?
Yeah, please. I mean, please don't bring up Hakeem Nicks. I am a Giants fan. Don't do that to me.
No, the laugh.
Just the laugh. I was just a little.
Just the laugh. Trey, though, it's funny what you're talking about, the over the top. I was thinking about that this weekend. Obviously, we don't talk too much hoop here, but I just want to throw this out there. Brad Stevens obviously has been doing a tremendous job. That's an amazing coach.
Genius.
Right? Amazing coach.
Genius.
And yet, because we understand in NBA basketball how nothing is given, nothing is promised, there's a strong chance that Brad Stevens won't win a championship in the next few years, right?
Correct.
Pretty strong chance, right?
Yes. Right.
All right. So
and they have a 2-3 year window, in my opinion.
Yeah. But whatever their window is, there's a strong chance that in the next 2-3 years they're not going to win one. And so part of me is beginning to wonder when that backlash is going to happen. Like we tell people, Brad Stevens is a great coach, dude, and the response being, how many rings has he won? And then everyone's out on him as a great coach all of a sudden.
Yeah. Are rings as important to coaches as they are to players?
No.
So.
Legacy?
Oh no, not. For
me. I think we haven't got that vocal light. You know what I mean? Like no one's.
Oh,
ever
come on!
Really
Hold on. Mike D'Antoni. He's one of the best coaches. He changed the way that people play basketball in this league, and people still talk about he can't coach because look what he did with the Knicks and the Lakers.
Right.
A terrible organization.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
By the way, that's why I'm rooting for the Rockets this year.
but that's my point. Wait, my point is, I'm not saying it's valid criticism. Right. I'm saying that when people talk about who are the best coaches in the game, they want to name only guys that won rings. That's how Doc Rivers got in that conversation once upon a time. Because
really? Wait, really?
There was a time, like 2011.
People thought Doc Rivers was one of the 2 or 3 best coaches in the world.
The best coaches.
Also, a lot of casual fans. You know, it's crazy. I said this before. Like the coach of the year thing is starting to become like, it's starting to damn near become like most improved player to like people who don't really watch basketball, because like you'll look at this and be like, oh, this guy really can coach. He got a ring now. And it's like, no, he could always coach. Right. Other coaches won, whatever, but it's like the casual people coach. But the casual people only know the results. Like it's a results based.
I've heard people say Ty Lue was a really good coach.
But hold on.
No, I just now gave Ty Lue his credit.
What's up?
Jay gave Ty Lue his credit.
Jay just brought up a name. He said Tom Thibodeau. And that's a perfect example of that was a dude that they were sucking off every day, and then all of a sudden now Tibbs runs his guys into the ground, right? And that's all you hear about Tibbs. Nobody's saying.
I ain't never said all of a sudden. Me and Mari been saying this.
Bro, listen, I'm saying like this, dog.
Guys, I'm not talking.
No, I'm not talking about Doc Thibodeau. The Doc Thibodeau years. Remember?
I'm talking about like for all of these coaches, it starts off like, oh, this guy's really a good coach, but you probably never heard of him. And then all of a sudden, like everyone said, this guy's a great coach. And then they don't win.
Right.
And then the downfall comes.
They're gonna do Igor like that.
Honestly, I mean, I think it's the perception that Brad Stevens isn't coaching high level talent.
Well, I know, but what happens when Kyrie and Gordon Hayward come back and they still don't win a championship? Or worse, they don't make it to when they don't make it to the finals because the Sixers got a year older.
That's when it's gonna start.
You see my point?
Y'all about to get swept. Relax.
Chill out, bro. Jay, you looking for Game 5 tickets, bro. Chill out.
Exactly. Thank you. Hey, by the way, shouts to Trevor Filippi, who did sponsor Jerv's Rips. # trust the process. He hopes you're feeling better. John.
Hey, but you know what though, real quick though, Trey, back to your point about Donald Glover and like when you said that he can't coexist among other talented people and we don't necessarily have to compare it. What happens is a lot of people who are Donald Glover fans, they tend to do this thing where they act like he's the first one to do it instead of just saying like, oh no, he's great at what he does. And then they'll just be like, well, this guy is who Kanye wish he was. He's who this person. It's like, nah, look, we've seen this before.
But they
let's give him his credit.
They also think that Donald Glover and Childish Gambino are 2 different people.
Right. Oh no, 100%. It's like Sock G and Humpty Hump for sure. Like I 100%. That's basically what it is.
So when I read that, like, hey, he looks just like the dude from Atlanta, and I'm like, really?
No, 100%. But it happens. It happens crazy.
Yo, that's funny as fuck.
Yeah. That's crazy to think that's 2 different people, dude.
Jerv. I thought playoff Jerv was the bomb. I thought no voice Jerv was the bomb. But bong grip Jerv is a whole nother beast.
Young Thug on stage, and then go and plug in an iPhone with 16,000 people. Everybody in the audience, whoever you want to name and shit, streaming, live, all this, like a breakthrough. And as soon as I was 45 minutes late, I felt it was the fashion community getting the right to say nigger without saying it. To be like, yo, we know you come through stepping on necks and all that, and what you do in your approaches, things and stuff, but if you get out of line, boy, we gonna roast you. And it affected me because I'm an artist, and it affected me emotionally. It's like all these things were like almost set up to put me on meds, to break me down. The robbery, like I don't know where that came from. Was that a bigger plan, a bigger setup?
I feel like I ain't been on this show in like 3 weeks, man.
You want to take those questions?
Oh yeah, let's do a voicemail. Okay, good idea. Let's see what we got here. Anybody check out the John Oliver Giuliani thing?
Nope.
No.
Nah.
All right, forget
I don't even know who that is.
Lost me at Giuliani.
Cool.
All right, here we go.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Goner from Minneapolis. Just wanted to check in because there's a lot of haircut talk on the pod. and a lot of it revolves around coming home. I recently came home about, let's say, a month and a half ago, but I've gotten mixed reviews. Some of my partners say, yo, bro, I'm glad you did that. Or, it had to take a lot. But then I had somebody come up to me the other day. I was at a day party. Somebody said, yo, you look crazy. So anybody else come home recently and experience the same thing? Because we got to talk about the process for when you actually come home. Amin, you might have to go through this soon, bro.
Yo, it's a great question.
You want to chime in?
Great question.
Bruh, listen.
As the expertise of coming home.
Was that Jerv? Was that you, Jerv?
I'm not all the way. I'm at the no guard or whatever. I had the conversation.
Oh, you're not
with
home.
Nah.
I
follow Jerv on the gram.
Is home the Bic? Is home the Bic?
Yeah, like home is big. Like like you all the way home. You Michael Jordan, greatest to ever play the game.
Home is the way Dr. Evil. Remember Dr. Evil was telling me to come here and hug. Like that's home. Like come on, like, come home.
Hey,
that shit.
My barber and I, we had the conversation, and I told him whenever that day comes, like I don't even want you like to prolong anything. I was like, take me as low as you need to take me, and when it's time, just do it. I don't even want any questions asked. So we had our real conversation, but. When you go home, it just is what it is. It's not about, long as you cool, everybody's gonna be shocked at.
So first. What you got the Doc Rivers right now?
I mean, I don't want to use that person, but sure.
You know what it is? You got the Tony
you want me to call it the screen? You want me to be nice and call it the screen door?
Jerv kind of got the Kobe / Tony Parker.
Right, you got the
Kobe / Tony Parker type joint. I follow Jerv on there. But see, here's the thing. For me, I mean, I can't relate to this. I got a healthy hairline. Sorry, but the thing is this.
You're like 12.
No. This
like
is the thing.
12, man.
Absurd.
I'm 13.
She's got
I'm 13.
The fresh
anyway,
cut
so
too.
So what happens is this. Like I've been around a couple guys. Like I know I got friends right now that had to go home. It's cool. What I've noticed is that as long as you embrace it and you rock it with confidence, somebody can say whatever they want. But you gotta have now. If you out here dodging pictures and you halfway, like you dodging.
You looking crazy.
That's when now you looking crazy. And the reason why that person probably told you look crazy, you might not notice, but your facial expression might have been that of like you was less than confident about going home. So if you rocking with confidence and you all doing,
you gotta swag the body out,
man. They gotta respect it.
Swag the body.
Hey, don't do it like that, bro. It don't matter how confident you are. Everybody's still going to be like, everybody's going to be shocked off top the first time.
Okay.
That's
like,
you know what I
mean?
Longest,
and you just got to accept that, though.
Jerv, long as he don't pull up with the straw hat, the get out hat, he all good.
You know what, Jerv?
Swag the body out,
everybody, Jerv, I'm gonna tell you this. Everybody looked at Cam crazy when he wore pink, and you looked up and everybody else was wearing it too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You gotta rock it. They're gonna look at you. I'm just saying. I'm not saying we did. No.
I can't let you talk.
I'm not saying that.
I can't let you talk about the pink.
I'm talking about,
bro. We was on the pastels and the pink way before Cam, yo.
No,
we was out here, bro. I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. I'm gonna tell you like this, and this is factual. This is factual, bro. We had the pink pants and all that before, and then Cam rocked, and then all of a sudden, everybody from Harlem and everybody thought it was cool, but everybody from Philly was rocking the teal and the powder blue and the pink pants, polo, bro. We was out here, but it's all good.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I would say, man, just be rock it with confidence, man.
Listen.
Absolutely.
I speak from experience here. You're gonna get both, no matter what. There's so many people in your lives, people that were accustomed to you with hair. They're gonna be shocked when they see bald. Other people are gonna be like, "Yo, you should have done this years ago." I got that.
I think that might be worse. That might be worse than you look crazy.
I will say
you
this.
Did this years ago?
I mean, some people are like, listen, I've had people talk, you got the perfectly shaped head. I personally think my head's too big. But here's the thing. You got to just maintain a good weight for yourself. Like you want to exercise. If you got the bald head, you want to appear physically active with it. You know what I mean? Don't do the fat bald head thing. That's trouble.
That fat bald head is crazy. Needs to be out there looking like Homer.
Jay just dropped a couple gems for everybody.
Homer and the Moo-Moo.
You want to keep that head trim.
Jay, your new name is the bald guy.
I said it before. My head accumulates fat before like my butt or legs do. Right? It's all at the top of my body.
I feel like if you got I feel like this. If you got a baldy, And once you get to a certain like number, like weight wise, I feel like once you hit that number, you can properly diagnose what's wrong with a car just by the way it sounds when they crank it up. Just immediately, as soon as you hit that number, it's like, oh shit, that's it, right? That's the starter right there.
I wonder, like, for me, it was a long ass process though. Like I told you, 16 years old to 30 was how long it took me to go fully bald.
Wait, you started losing hair at 16?
Oh wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's
So you the most confident on the pod.
Some people
out here.
Some people lose it overnight, and I feel bad
16
for them.
16.
I went voluntarily bald one time. That was kind of wild. Somebody made a wild statement.
I rocked the one. I got my drink. I got the one.
You said that's not
time.
cool.
That's not cool. Like all y'all cats just be voluntarily going bald, and then like this shit just grow back on purpose. That's not even cool.
Man, Jerv, I done did so much with my hair, dude. I'm surprised it's still here, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. I had braids. I done dyed my hair.
Bald fade was the wave that one point when I was a kid.
I had the braids at the top. I done had the twist.
Definitely had the braids. I did the braids. I did the braids during the AI era, a little bit before that.
Oh, you had the braids on the AI era.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, Jerv, is when I do come home, I'll be ready for it.
You're not coming home. You'll be fine.
No, but I'm saying if I do have to, I mean, shit. I never thought Chris Paul would come home, but look at him. He about to. He holding on today. We the same age.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? I think it's genetics. But
he's doing pretty good. Anyway, here we go.
Hey, my name is James, and I'm leaving a message for the Black to Black crew. I know we're all tired of Kanye and discussing things about Kanye as well. But I do want to pose this question. I think it's something that's worth considering. As far as people being upset about him trying to repurpose the MAGA hat, I kind of feel the same way about people repurposing the N-word. Just like the MAGA hat and that slogan, making America great again. America has never been great for black people. I do agree with that. But I also feel that the N-word has never been something that has been great for black people in the same sense. And us trying to repurpose that word and say that it's a term of endearment now and whatnot is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. I don't mind people that, do use it, black people of course, to each their own, but I stopped saying it years ago because, if I don't want the white man calling me that, and I don't want my brother calling me that either. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you.
What's his question?
So he's pretty much saying that the N-word is kind of being swept over and it should be held accountable for, pretty much. Like, it's a term of endearment now. We've kind of made it like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
So he's a black person who doesn't want to use the N-word?
Well, he doesn't use
Okay, so don't use the word.
No. He's not going
to tell me what to say.
He's not telling you what to do. He's saying he doesn't use it in his own company, but he's saying since we're frowning upon the MAGA hat, why aren't we frowning upon the N-word in the same context if it's kind of degrading to
because black people don't control the levers of power in America, and we're not oppressing ourselves. It's that fucking simple. It's not really that complicated.
Also, why I think that if we didn't take the word, if we didn't take the word back, we wouldn't have got Jigga My Nigga from Ruff Riders Volume 1. So
by the way, this is what it boils down to. Do Jewish people use the racial slur for Jewish people amongst each other? No. Do white people still use it? Yes. Do Latin people still use the racist term for Latin people amongst each other? Do white people still use it? Yes. Just go on down the line. Asian people, go on down the line. They don't use the word amongst each other. Do white people still use it? Do white people still treat them as other? Yes. So just show me the counterexample where not, quote unquote, not using the word or the slur actually fucking matters. I just like to see this in practice. This idea that white people would treat us as human, or that our lives will somehow be made better by us not saying nigga to each other. I just want to see the facts. That's it.
Chuck D still on that?
All right.
Oh, shit.
Hey man, thanks for the question, brother.
Yeah, bro.
Wow. Well, you know, it's the point of the hotline. People getting hot. See what I did there?
People getting hot as
Yo,
fuck.
Jade, man.
Hey, so did y'all touch upon that Charlemagne interview and the TMZ thing?
No.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on it. All I was going to say is after viewing two different interviews, I kind of get what Kanye trying to say, but he's still off. You know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to force this whole, you know, it's one thing to throw. It's like me interviewing Jerv, and then Jerv's kind of like just giving me answers with nothing to follow up on. And then you get a second chance to be interviewed again. And then now you kind of trying to clean up the mess. You get what I'm saying? Like he's like, oh, I didn't think. Pretty much, he's saying I didn't think of it that way. And what he's trying to do some. I want everybody to love everybody.
But Trey, like peep game, like it's what I said earlier, right? Like if you get what he's saying, but you know, you just don't agree with it. Yeah. There are people that kind of feel somewhat what he feels, but how he's going about saying it, because he doesn't talk in complete sentences. He just says what's ever on his mind. He really needs that person with him at all times to like, he should just like, whenever a question is said, he should just really say it to them and allow the person to interpret it for him. Like, you know what I mean? He wouldn't have that bad of an impact if he could have people. I'm not saying you would agree with everything he's saying, but like when he goes in depth with stuff, you still may not agree with it, but you at least understand that he didn't mean like the absolute ignorant aspect of it, which was what was like the like, you know, the quick little quote. You know what I mean? You at least break it down and understand that he wasn't trying to be ignorant. You can still think it was ignorant, but he wasn't coming from a malicious place when he said it, though.
Yeah. I mean, because I know obviously the short clip with Van went viral, and then I'm not sure if anybody watched the whole interview. And I still think, like, obviously that's ignorant as hell to say slavery is a choice, but his main message of what he was trying to do, I felt he could have went a different way about it, of just saying promoting love around the world, or love for someone that we view in a hateful eye. I think that was the message that he was trying to push, but then he lost everybody by that one hot line. Like, you made the hot line, I made the hot song. Like, it's so wrong. Like, you know what I mean? And the same thing as far as him trying to rub shoulders with Trump is just kind of like his OD to like, hey, thank you for opening the door for me to be able to even live out my thought of being a president. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still crazy. Like, I'm not caping for it.
Unless we're living in Westworld, Trey.
Hey, that would be scary. That would be scary, dude, if I found out I was on a pod with
we're actually in the Matrix.
With hosts.
You never know.
But yeah, it's super crazy, man, because, like, you know, and then I also, like, you know, I feel like I guess I'm going back on my religion, being hypocritical by I guess judging. So I mean, you know what I mean? Like the week without a phone, I was just thinking about mad shit. So maybe I'm just too woke over here. I was trying to give everybody a benefit of the doubt, because
I'm still not convinced.
All our favorite artists ain't shit. I feel like everybody got something crazy about them going on, and not saying that it's okay, but who am I going to listen to? Who am I going to listen to? Throwing away everything, throwing away all the art.
No, I feel you. I just I'm not convinced that this isn't all a huge
marketing scheme.
Yes, I'm not convinced. I'm still not convinced.
It's definitely a marketing scheme too.
I don't think it is.
But then the TMZ shit, when he was talking to the one black dude and Harvey, I was like, this might not be an act. Like, this might be. This man is so divorced.
Yeah, he's out of it.
This man is so divorced from reality, like he is just gone. You know, he's literally. But then he talks about the sunken place as if he understands what the fuck that means, the significance of it.
So, oh yeah, he's trolling. That's why I
It's
put on
tough.
the tweet. I said I can't even tear. I said we're at a point now that we've glamored trolling so much that it's become a part of life. Like people were like, it's no more. I'm just playing. It's trolling, and then it's like you can't even tell the difference anymore until somebody punch you in the face. Like,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, right? Like, so if Kanye's so separated from everything, right? He knows nothing about anything that's going on. You know, obviously when they asked him about Trump, whatever the case may be, he had no clue. For him to say sunk in place, that means he had to have at least probably seen the movie, right? Does that mean one of his homies?
Or no, the thing was
through and brought it to him?
So he said,
like,
he admitted to seeing Get Out, but then he also said that his friends would send him the memes, like that he's became a meme or whatever. And he thought that was funny because I think that's what he's like, he's on like a quick glimpse, a synopsis or something like, yo, if Jay sends me something to the chat and he's like, yo, you got to read this really quick because we're going to talk about it. I'm going to skim through it. And I think he skims through everything without getting the full conversation. Like I never try to go bat for bat with Waz if I'm not actually fully invested into the conversation, if I'm about to go debate with him, because I know Waz is going to actually be in debt and know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Trust me.
And how you said what?
Waz is skimming too. Trust me.
Oh, he's skimming too. He's just selling it a little bit well.
He used to always skim those Windhurst articles.
Get out of here. Fuck out of here.
But yeah, to say that, I feel like the stuff that he's now been blurting out is all skim content without any full research behind it. So he just sounds smart. He wants to sound smart or accepted in the world, or like he's easily latching on to what he thinks is cool. So if I see that's like me being all you guys' friends. I say, okay, Jerv wears the Air Max 1. I really like that. So I start wearing it. You know what I'm saying? Without knowing your history behind that shoe and why you really like that shoe. I just like it because you influenced me that much. And then I go over hang out with Waz, and Waz plays the song for me. And the artist that he shared with me now becomes my favorite artist, and I'm talking about it. And Waz doesn't get the credit for it. But I'm all sold in on this artist Waz put me on. And Jay tells me about this movie. And I say, this is the best movie created. But I'm not really knowing I never read the books. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just skimming through shit and just throwing it out there because, hey, this makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you have such a dangerous platform that you don't understand.
Yeah. I was making a joke about Waz, but dude, so many people do. So many people do.
A lot of people do.
You know.
Including us. So
it's like, I don't know.
But we're not just throwing out lobby bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people are not looking at. I don't think we have the power of the youth, Jay, is what I'm saying. And that's why I said the dangerous platform. Because
listen, Code says it. Code says it in the article. You know, what he's doing is dangerous just by the mere fact that he controls such a large space in the public platform, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And again, when you're black, you have to be, when you're black and you have any kind of influence, you have to be a fucking freedom fighter. Like, there's no choice in the matter. He brought up a beautiful example in Kurt Cobain. It's like when he died, he just, he died to his audience. When Tupac died, it's like a whole fucking nation of black people felt the loss of this guy. And that's the difference. When you're black, you don't get to play the sidelines.
Choose. Yeah, you don't get to choose sides. Yeah. Yeah, it's too much, especially at that platform. Just the life of a celebrity, though, in general. Like, I mean, you victim becomes that. You can't really say I want 2 and 2. Like, hey, I'm gonna be low key and do all this other stuff.
You know,
because regardless, it's brought to that point.
I wish somehow we can go back in time and I can get Kanye on the Morton Downey Jr. show. Do you remember that show?
Morton Downey Jr.
Do you remember that show, Oz? You old enough?
No, what is that?
Oh, you don't remember the Morton Downey Jr. show?
Nah, what is that?
It was like the talk show.
Enlighten me.
He was a crazy kind of like, he was before Maury Povich and them.
One of the problems in our country that we really don't address is the white people trying to tell black people who their leadership should be. One of those problems is addressed because the white people, we haven't been able to pick too many good leaders. Well, who does pick the leadership? And what is leadership? It was Martin Luther King. Certainly it's a Jesse Jackson. He got 7 million votes. Tonight, I want to introduce you to one very good friend of mine, Roy Innes, and another gentleman. And the interesting dichotomy of it all, another good friend, Al Sharp.
Jerv, you an old head. I just heard you just saying Morris. That's old head shit, man. That's funny as hell, dog. Oh, he looked fucking crazy. Yeah, he looked like he always yelling. Close your mouth, G. That's his thing, Jay. So he just like
he was a loud
looks
mouth.
like he's taking a bite out of crime.
Yeah, I remember, dude.
That's an
Loud
amazing
mouth,
show.
dude.
If you could watch some,
dude.
if you could watch some clips. Hey, Anthony Canton.
Hey, what's going on, Jade?
Do you remember the Morton Downey Jr. show?
Morton Downey Jr.
Wow, you're from New York.
Morton what the hell?
It was like on Channel 9.
Jay,
remember Channel 9?
Oh, well, yeah,
yes, UPN.
UPN, shout out to
They
Girlfriends.
went through a bunch of different iterations, but yeah. Brandy was on Channel 9, all of that.
Well, shouts to Moesha. Yeah.
So he pioneered the genre of trash TV.
Kev, you there?
I'm here.
Oh, turn your mic down. Turn it down. Whatever you did last week, remember?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, so this show was aired. Yeah, Jade. This is before me and Was.
Yeah,
this is in the 80s, so I was like not even really.
Jerv, I was born. Jade, I was born in 1987.
You were woke at a young age. So
yeah, I'm 85.
2 year old.
I was watching Jenny Jones and Ricky Lake, my boy. That's what I was watching.
Yeah. This is before us, Jade. But his face looks very familiar. He passed in 2001.
I need the ringer.
He created the genre loudmouth.
I need the ringer to do an article on this for Waz.
Fuck God,
That's funny.
Oh my God, I just Googled it. I see this dude with a noose. What the hell is going on here?
Yes, it was a wild show, man. There was like fighting on stage, people like brawls and shit. Anyway, we got the next thing on the rundown.
Ruff Riders turns 25. What were y'all doing when this first came out?
Well, what first came out?
Ruff Riders.
25? How can it be 25?
No, I think it's 20. 1998. 1998. It's dark as hell.
I don't know why.
20 sounds crazy though, honestly.
Yeah, that sounds wild.
I remember conning my mom into letting me get that album, and not the clean version. I got lucky with that one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Man, Anthony, how old are you?
I'm 31. I'm born in 86.
Oh, I'm washed. So that was 8th grade for me, man.
Yeah, that was 6th grade, I think, for me.
What I remember about X was that shit, man. I remember the 4321. His verse on there is when I first became aware of him and what he was doing and who he was. Yeah. And I was like, man, this dude is different. Like the energy and just his whole aesthetic was just crazy. And then, of course, Get At Me Dog video where people with epilepsy were falling out and shit. He shot that at the tunnel and that's when because that shit came out like a freaking explosion. Like there's legendary stories about DJs playing that song in clubs, certain clubs in New York, and literally people tearing the clubs apart. Like owners and promoters were like, yo, you're booked, but you cannot play this DMX song in here. So that's what I think about when I think about DMX. And then Ruff Riders Anthem came out shortly after, and that just, of course, that took over. How's It Going Down? The whole all the singles from that album.
How's It Going Down? My
went
God.
crazy.
It's crazy. When I first heard the Ruff Rider anthem, the intro track or whatever, I thought that I thought Drag On was Cam, and I thought Eve.
Shots is Drag On.
I thought Eve was like Charlie Baltimore or something like that. I thought Eve was like Charlie Baltimore or something like that.
Trying to say all black people sound alike.
Hey man, listen, I ain't want to go there. Nah, but that was a dope album. That was a dope era, especially for me. That was right when Philly kind of was starting to make their little move. Eve was starting to make her little name. Rockefeller was dope. It was a dope album. That was like a really good album era. Like really, really, really good, like classic era album.
Yeah. Stop Being Greedy. Man, Stop Being Greedy is one of my favorite songs. God damn.
Yo, that dude came out with I know Pop put out a ton of work, but that little era where X had the debut album, then it's then what was it? Flesh in My Blood.
Yeah, Flesh in My Flesh.
Jerv, 98 was a 6 month span where he did he dropped the first one, It's Dark as Hell is Hot, and then followed up with Flesh in My Flesh. Then 4 months later, gave us the third album. Probably at that time, I know we like to praise Lil Wayne, Future's run, but X was probably the first person to like really follow up them albums that quick with the short attention span. He was trying to get to it.
For sure.
And then we were so overly consumed with X because we got the movies that followed. He had he had all these movies until 2004, 2005. Yeah. With the albums followed up, and they both weren't trash. Like you know how LL Cool J got heavy into acting and Ice Cube got heavy into acting, and then we kind of weeded him out of the rap game. This dude was kind of doing he's playing two sports damn near.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and if you ever saw like, and with all that, and then like if you ever saw X live, like I saw X. I'm older than y'all, so I saw X live a couple times, like on the tours or whatever, and that same energy that you would always see, like that was just dude, man. Like his career. It had a really, really, it started off really, really hot, and then all the stuff he went through. But that little run right there, man, that's an epic run. Like it really hasn't been anything like that. He's made most of the people out here, like with the energy he brought on stage. Like half these dudes, had to pick up their stage performances because of like cats like him.
And he did it all on crack.
That is true. Sadly, that's an old ass line.
Not funny. That is not funny. Just kidding.
Hey man, it's rough out here, man. My dog out here doing, he's been struggling with that all his career, man. And I would hate to read a headline in negative stuff, in a negative light of X. So I hopefully gets it right for himself and his children. I still think his reality show was one of the best ones out too, with Dark Man X out there in Arizona cutting up. It seemed like Swiss Beats was the only person to keep him afloat.
Dude been trying to get it right for 20 years.
For 20 years. But he that lovable uncle. He your doping uncle that you love so much. Like you just gotta
but you love him the same.
Yeah, you love him the same.
That's true.
He my doping uncle. My man, listen. Uncle Earl.
Yeah.
Don't mind him. That's his Uncle Earl, yo.
Yeah.
Don't mean no harm.
That's what it is.
Baby, don't go over there right now. Uncle Earl busy.
Earl busy right now. He gonna be straight after he take his medicine.
Yeah.
God, sick man. Let's see. Jay, we got another call?
Yo, what's poppin', Jay, man? It's Jeff from Houston. Shout out the Rockets. But yeah, man, I got a conspiracy theory on LeBron. What if he's wanting these games to get down to the wire because he's trying to blow Michael Jordan out in clutch stats? Just a thought.
What?
What?
That theory is trash. That theory is trash. Trash.
That's a trash question and a trash theory.
First of all, Jeff from Houston, you're my guy. But that's the conspiracy theory for LeBron.
Oh man,
I don't think you knew what conspiracy. That was pretty bad.
Of all the other ones,
nah,
out
you know
there,
what?
That's
You know
the
what it
one
was, man. Jeff thought he could just come up here and ask anything, and it could just be, you know, whatever, and we wasn't going to treat him like he's family. And we know no one's off limits. You got if it don't make sense, you got to get called out.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I just wanted to get up. All right, hold on. Now this one's too long. People, like Bomani says on his, I noticed his little podcast advertisement for voicemails. Keep it short. Mm-hmm. I can't do the 4-minute voicemail, man.
Yeah,
just can't.
Yeah, Jay, that's why I hit him with the first time, long time, and I'll hang up and listen. And that always works.
Wait, Anthony, what do you...
Yo.
Hey, what's up, Amin?
What up?
He's
Welcome back. We just got one of the probably like easily...
Oh,
the worst question.
I was waiting for Amin to get back to do the next one. That's why.
Did you guys already run through
Rough
Riders anthem?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Say a small piece about DMX 1998.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, man.
Amazing.
The funny thing is when that album came out, I actually didn't hear the intro song for the longest because I just thought they were talking, and I'd skip right, and I thought the first song on that album was Rough Riders anthem, and it took me might have been damn near a couple of weeks for someone to tell me, oh man, I love it. And I'm like, what song? Like the first song. I'm like, Rough Riders anthem. No, the first song. There's another song. And that I had to go back and listen to it. But yeah, that Rough Riders anthem, when you hear that, like you knew exactly what was gonna happen.
Song new.
And yes, and then the remix was on the first Clue album, I guess, right? The Professional, remember that one?
Yes.
Was it on the
yeah. Professional, yeah.
Yeah, and then that was the thing. Like if you had heard that song, now when you heard the hook, you wouldn't just go stop, drop. You go, my dogs go, your dogs, and then we go. First we had a fight, now we like, wow, baby. Yeah, man. Anyways, yeah. So what else? What you got? Oh, by the way, I did hear the one about the guy who said he came home and half the population was like,
was not with it.
Was not with it. First of all, that is a real life fear. That's a real life fear. But here's my theory: anyone who does not know you or does not know you well is gonna be cool with it. Anyone who's known you for a while, them's gonna be the ones that be like, "What are you doing?"
Hey, this is for the Monday show. Just curious about all this shit Amin's getting about Becky Hammon. I was at the Game 5 Warriors game with the Spurs, watching the warm-ups, and she was actually on the court warming up some of the bench players, or I don't even know who they were. I didn't even recognize them. Anyway, I mean, she was passing the ball to them. I'm assuming checking to see if they're ready to go for the game, if they wanted to use them or not. I don't see Popovich or Kerr or any of those front row coaches doing that. Just seeing what you guys thought about that. Let me know. I'll hang up and listen out. Thank you.
So are we explaining that's just how her job? That's her job.
Yeah, let me answer it, Trey, because it's clear by the way he was describing what he saw, he does not know what he's looking at.
Okay.
He doesn't know. And he kind of said, I don't know, and he's answering. So I'm gonna take him at face value. But I would also like to use him not derogatorily, but as an example for many of the people who are chiming in on this conversation who literally don't know anything about anyone's job duties or anything like that.
Okay.
For one. Two, this was never a question about her coaching acumen. And it's not a question of coaching acumen because I don't know. I don't know hers, much like I don't know Ime Udoka's. Much like I don't know Micah Shrewsbury for the Atlanta Hawks. Like,
what about
you guys a million?
What about Messina?
I know Messina's because I've seen him coach, head coach, real basketball, not summer league.
I brought that up.
Not practice. Yeah. So anyway, what you saw, because Becky Hammon is a player development coach, pretty much, which is much like most of the people on the back row. Your head coach is never on the floor before a game warming dudes up. If he is, then that means it must be his first job, or some really weird stuff has happened, right? Because that's what assistants are for. But B specifically, that's what the back row, definitely, that's what they do. They run guys through drills and stuff like that. Usually the back row guys are younger guys too, if you've noticed. Because the idea is you can get on the floor and go set a screen and get hit and basically do things at a full player level that you can't ask Pop, even if he wanted to do, because he's 100 years old, right? Second of all, you watching her go through the drills like that, again, I'm not making a comment about her acumen or that of any other assistant coach in that situation. I'm telling you that you as a viewer don't know what you're watching. Don't know. That's not coaching. That's getting guys warmed up. The guys already know what drills we're doing. You're just there to basically keep count, rebound, feed them, sometimes give them a little like, okay, I'm going to play up on you, or whatever, to get the dummy type of defenses that they're going to face when they're doing these method shooting or whatever you want to call it. And I think as far as that voicemail goes, that's all I have to say, right? It's those two things. It's you don't know what you're looking at, and also, yeah, she's doing that because that's what people in that position do, and head coaches rarely, if ever do that stuff.
I mean, because this thing basically took over my timeline the entire weekend because I mentioned the idea that Becky Hammon had quote unquote skipped the line, and I want to shed a little bit more light on what I meant when I was saying that. When you are not a player, you did not play in the league. When people bring up unexperienced, quote unquote, inexperienced people who got head coaching jobs, people like Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr, Jason Kidd, these are all people who spent 15 plus seasons in the league. And the bottom line is when you are a player, you have equity in the league. You deserve special treatment. The players deserve to be treated different from people who didn't play. And that's not about, oh, you're a woman or you're a this. The players deserve to reap benefits after they're done playing.
The way I described it, I said, because people say, "Oh, so if you've never played in the NBA, you can't coach." So no. So there's a path for those. There's a path
different
for those
rules for you.
There's a path. There's a path for those who've never played in the NBA. The example I gave was David Vanderpool. David Vanderpool had a very successful career internationally, and coached internationally, assistant coach, and then came over here and became an assistant coach here, right? Ty Ellis, a guy that most people have never heard of. Again, played long, illustrious career in Europe, came over here, was a volunteer assistant coach on our summer league team in like 2008 while he was still playing, mind you. He came and then did that. And then assistant coaching job in the G League, and then eventually a head coaching job in the G League. And now he's on I think he's, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but he was on the staff for the Suns last couple of years. People say
no, but I mean, this is what people are getting at. They think that you're making the distinction between having played as a man and having played as a woman. It's like, no, but having played in the NBA, you don't see a guy who spent 12 years in Turkey or the second best league in the world, the Spanish league. And you say, well, he played 12 seasons the same as an NBA. So you can't say somebody who played 12 seasons or 15 seasons, whatever it may be in the WNBA and say, well, it should be looked at the same as the NBA. That's not how this works.
It's not how it works at all. And then again, beyond that, I said 5 years assistant coaching experience. I said, oh, so next year it'll be 6 years. Like, no, because I can find someone with less than 6 years assistant coaching experience who got an interview for a head coaching job. I can find that one. I can't find the one with less than 5 who didn't play in this league and who doesn't have head coaching experience somewhere else. And that was my whole point. Like, I wasn't saying these are the rules. I said, you find me the person who had those set of circumstances.
By the way, Amin, I'm open to the idea that maybe we should be giving Becky Hammon's preferential treatment because, and let's be clear, that's what is happening. When I say skip the line, she is not going through the the exact channels that everybody else does.
But why?
When
But here's
not
my
an
point.
NBA player.
Here's my thing. But this Milwaukee interview aside, the funny thing is, I would argue she is going through the procedures that someone who didn't play in the league.
Right.
She's on the bench. She's behind the bench. One of these guys, either Borrego or Messina, is going to get a job somewhere. Then she'll move up when they leave, or she'll go with them when they leave and be on their front row of the bench there. They'll have some success, and then she'll get interviewed for. That's the process. That's like it's like people were acting like I was saying someone on the street, no, you can't come in. Like, no, she's already in. She's already in the pipeline. And the one rebuttal I had, and you and I talked about it via text, but I'm gonna say it right now. I said, if you guys are gung ho about this, then you know who she cut in line? She didn't cut Patrick Ewing in line. She didn't cut David Van Trappool in line. She cut Nancy Lieberman in line.
Right.
Nancy Lieberman been an assistant coach. Nancy Lieberman head coached in the G League. Nancy Lieberman fits the criteria, but no one's crying for Nancy.
Nobody caves for her. It's weird.
And Waz, it's not that weird. And that's why I was like, then you can start to put 2 and 2 together. Right, especially when it said, "Oh, well, Jackie Robinson wasn't the best." Like, okay, all right. So what are you saying here?
I mean, who was the lady that just got the job at on the Big Three?
That's Nancy Lieberman.
That's what I thought. Okay,
she coaching Team Power.
Yeah,
And by the way,
she rather coach the NBA.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's what I'm saying. I know. Yeah, you can kind of see it at the draft too.
With George Karl, right?
Way, when I point out, when I'm like, look, I noticed that Becky Hammon is jumping the line, and the fact, and again, most people didn't even want to concede that there was one, because all they wanted to say was Jason Kidd and Mark Jackson. I'm like, these are players. These rules do not apply to them, and nor should they. Period. I'm just saying, I'm noticing that the person that's jumping this line is white, and this is the blackest league in the world. And we already know how hard it is for black dudes to get these head coaching positions. And how with somebody like Dwayne Casey, when he does get in a position, he gets all these weird critiques about his coaching. We already know that this is happening. I'm just saying, I'm just pointing it out. I'm open to the idea that maybe Becky Hammon is somebody that deserves it, but let's point out that she's getting special treatment. And let's ask ourselves why, and should this be happening? That's all I'm saying. I'm like, look, I'm not saying that this is a travesty or it's to the end of the world. I'm saying, like, there's a white person fucking skipping the line here, man.
I just keep thinking about, like, how intricate it is to get a coaching job. I remember Ethan's podcast with Warren Legary.
They don't even have a grasp for that, Jade.
And, like, all the backroom dealings that come with getting the job may involve getting players down the road, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not right.
There's definitely a lot of no, that's right, Jay. But I think the main thing here is I'm trying to explain to people is you guys are talking about something that you don't understand. Like, for instance, I said, name the last back row assistant. I'm not talking about gender or anything. I'm just talking about someone who sits in the back row who got a head coaching interview somewhere in the league. I had someone who I worked with. I'm not going to name names. I had someone tell me, oh, it happened a ton of times. I said, name one. This person couldn't name a single one. I said, name one. I was like, I don't have any newspaper clippings to prove it. I said, no. I don't even need you to prove it. Just give me a name so I can do the homework and figure out whether this person basically interviewed for a head job in the NBA as a back row assistant. And the name the person finally came up with was Alvin Gentry. And I said, you done fucked up now. You could have said any name in the league. You're going to say the name of someone that I worked with for 6 years? But Alvin didn't interview from a back row position. How do you know? How do I work with him for 6 years? What do you think I did? Say, good morning, coach?
thank you for listening to Back to Back Podcast on a Monday, May 7th, the Black to Black Show. We got more, about 40 more minutes on the overflow. Go to patreon.com/count the dings and subscribe. We got a bunch of exclusive content every week. The Overflow, Nerd Brigade Overtime, Snark Hoops, Westworld Recap, S-Stubbed. It's pretty cool. Anyway, in this episode, we are still talking about Becky Hammon, Power, the new Power trailer. We do a walkthrough of the Childish Gambino video. And Stan Van Gundy and Andre Drummond is a rapper. Who knew? Anyway, thank you so much for listening and all of your support. Support our sponsors, SeatGeek, Draft.com. Thanks to all the fans who supported us and our mini sponsors. Appreciate that, and we will talk to you later.
Deontay should have been a better player. I think that's one of those times where I think being knowledgeable, because his dad played in the league, I think that hurt him because he kept second guessing himself. I thought
they got him.
Not
got him. Oh, there he is.
Oh.